Hey friends, welcome back to the show. Justin here, and I'm so glad you're here with us. You could be listening to any other podcast right now, but you chose to click on the Men of the Hour for reasons that I'm not really sure of, but I just hope that our guests and everybody who comes to the show inspires you and that you learn something from them. And right now, I'm with our next guest, Gabriel Conte, who allowed me to call him Gabby for this next hour together. He's a comedian, he's an internet personality, actor, musician, you name it. He's an entrepreneur even, and he's on the show right now for the next hour with us. And we want to, before we get to the interview, I want to hear from you guys. You know, you guys make this show everything to my team and I. So if you would drop a rating and review right here on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening, it could be Spotify, it could be Google Play or wherever this thing lives. But your thoughts on the show only make us better. So thanks again in advance. Dude, thanks for being the man of the hour.
Oh, dude, appreciate it. I feel honored that I'm the man of the hour, man.
You're rocking your new merchandise. I'm not going to get into an interview without talking about the fact you just launched your Belong sweatshirt. I was on your Instagram 10 minutes before this interview. Yeah, it's dope merchandise, but it's around the company that you had launched, dude. And so congratulations on the merchandise. Music. So for your album, at least, right?
Yeah, the album.
But you have the apparel, right?
The music business, you know?
Well, because think about it. You have this launching for the album, and then you have your apparel company and the coffee company, and you're doing everything. You and Jess have a YouTube channel. We're going to dive into all of it, but congratulations on the album drop, buddy. What inspired Belong from the get-go?
Yeah, so actually that's a pretty deep story. I had never written music myself, and I'm a musician, so I play guitar. I grew up playing drums, sang. I did musical theater and stuff like that. So I was always involved in that kind of realm, but I never wrote myself. And then I went through a period of pretty bad depression at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019. And I had to kind of just like pause everything, just kind of like refine my purpose and stuff, and just understand like why I was working on everything, and giving myself that time at the beginning of 2019 and just like mental space allowed me to like refine clarity again and refine my purpose and stuff. But it also just gave me the gift of time, you know, to kind of allow myself to naturally work on whatever creative thing I wanted to put my hands to. And that was music ended up coming out of that. I started writing poetry, just like writing all these like thoughts, and like whether it was, you know, these dark thoughts that I was having or kind of more hopeful things or whatever, I was kind of just putting stuff down on paper. And I don't know, I was like, okay, well, these are kind of like lyrics, I guess. Let me try and make some music out of it. So then that's what started that songwriting journey. And then I was just writing, and I didn't know if it was going to be like one single or maybe I, you know, have a few singles or an EP or something. But an album later, I was like, okay, I guess we're dropping a debut album.
I want to talk about more of that later, man. The power of creativity with music is insane. And I will always tell people I will never claim to be a musician. I try to sing a lot, but there's so much to musicians that I think people don't look at. We just look at the Instagram stories that you post on social or your next YouTube vlog with Jess, and nobody really knows that you're sitting here like in the recording studio writing down music at 3:00 in the morning. That's a lot. Do you remember Vine? We got to talk about Vine, right? Because that's where you were first. He said, "Of course, dude." That's where I was like, that's where I was on the most.
I still think, dude, Jess still makes fun of me because I will think in Vine. If something funny happens, I'm like, oh, that'll be so funny if it was like this and filmed like that, and then like I come up with a Vine, and I still think that way. These like really short, like.
It's because it's not the same anymore. TikTok is like, so if you compare Vine to TikTok now, man. Has the production of what someone can do with their stupid cell phone changed? Because it used to just be a couple seconds on a Vine, like, damn, Danielle, that was it.
Yeah.
And then, but before you know it, dude became freaking famous, right? What, I think that it doesn't exist anymore for the most part, right? No one's really on it.
Vine is no more. There's no
completely
app.
gone.
Completely gone. Yeah.
Dude, but that's where it started for you.
RIP, man.
Let's take it back there though. When you were discovered on Vine, and dude, you were getting like millions of views even back then compared to the millions of views now. Did you think just from an app you would have like uncovered all of this other social media celebrity so many years later?
No, man. I knew. So my approach to it was half calculated, I like to say, because like no one knew where social media was going. Like, and I started in 2013. Summer of 2013 was when I downloaded the
Mm,
app. And I was doing, it was for fun because I always liked making videos. Even in high school, I was like trying to film stuff and edit stuff. So Vine was a really cool, accessible way to just do everything from your phone real quick. You take a few shots and it puts together a 6-second video. So that was a like entry level point that I was just kind of doing for fun. And that getting a few followers kind of turned it into this like, okay, I feel popular. This is fun. But seeing what some people were doing at that point, because by the time I joined, it had already been out for 6 months and people
yep.
I think people had hit over 1 million followers already. And it was like a whole thing. So at that point, I saw people doing, I didn't even know what they were called then, but I saw people doing brand deals. And I was like, okay,
Like,
they're promoting.
oh, bitch can make some money on this
I
thing.
was
You know
like,
what I
yeah,
mean?
I was like, they're like making some cash for
Yeah.
sure. So over the course of that first year, of doing Vine, by the end of 2013, so 6 months later, 6 months
Yeah.
into it, I had reached 10,000 followers, which was
It's
great.
a
But
lot for back then too.
yeah, but like slow growth, you know what I mean, compared to like if someone's getting millions in 6 months, getting 10,000, I wasn't competing at the top level, I guess you could say. And then within the next 6 months, before the summer hit, the summer of 2014, I was able to get to 100,000 followers. So that was a point where I was like, okay, I'm getting there. And my first brand deal was like $40. And I remember my mom like tells me the story all the time. She's like, I remember when you were walking out the door and you told me that I got my first brand deal for $40, and I just like walked out. I don't even remember it. My mom like recalls that story perfectly and she tells it to me all the time. But at that point, during that year, I was already in college. I was at FAU, a local university from where I'm from down in Florida. I had auditioned at a bunch of schools to try and major in acting. I actually got into all the schools that I auditioned at, fortunately, but I chose to go to Florida State University because they have a really good acting program. And yeah, and that so I was accepted when I was still growing my following. Then summer hit. I knew I was going to FSU, and at the beginning of the summer, I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to try and grow this thing as much as I can in the summer. My parents were like, go get a summer job so you can like save up a little
You're
bit
like,
for.
no, I just want to post videos and make money
Yeah,
that
I
way.
know. I was like, I'm gonna do, and this, I don't want to like when I go to school, I don't want to do like work study or work
Yeah.
at McDonald's or something like that. I want to try and use this as a way to make money. And I hustled that summer. I was posting videos all the time, trying to network with people, do the whole thing. And I ended the summer with 750,000 followers on Vine. And at that point, I was able to actually make some decent money doing different, promotional things. And I was trying to like negotiate with companies.
Hell
Because
yeah, you were. You got to get your coin.
yeah, so some of like there were some people who, they had a certain amount of followers, but maybe they had twice the amount of followers, but my videos were maybe performing as good, if not better than them.
Right. Right.
So I was like, hey, I know these people are making more. Can we like have a threshold system if my video hits many views? So I was like really trying to, I guess finagle the system and make the most out of what I had built. So that ended up, working out really well. Went to college, but I was only at FSU for a year before leaving to LA.
Mm. And then the rest is history, man. The rest has to be history because we have to get to all the history in a sec. It's like studying a history book, learning about you because you've accomplished and been so good at so many things. I remember researching and I was like, listen, can I call you Gabby? I'm gonna call you Gabby. So I
Yeah,
asked Gabriel,
my
guys.
parents called me.
I asked him, I said, do you go by Gabriel? He's like, and I said, better yet, what does your mom call you? He said, Gabby. And I was like, oh shit. Cause you're right. It's Gabriel, right? Gabriel
Yeah,
and from where
Gabriel,
you're from.
Gabriel. So in like my whole family speaks Spanish. So Gabi from Gabriel isn't weird in
Yep.
Spanish, but when in English, Gabby
Well, I
is
guess, right. It's said a little differently too. Gabi and Gabby, two very
yeah,
different
yeah.
things. But like,
No, so
listen,
I actually had people who would hear my parents or my family say it like the Spanish way, Gabi,
yep.
and they would start calling me Gabi, like with an O,
Oh,
but say it like American, like Gabi. So I have a bunch of, and then like then that just turns into Gabs and all the different nicknames that come from that.
I'm gonna
But
say,
right now, Yeah, you can call me Gabby.
Let's go to Gabby. Let's
Yeah.
do Gabby, bro. Wait, you mentioned your mom. What would she say now about how much you're able to make a living off of like doing things on the internet? And we'll get again, like you have a company, you're doing all this other stuff too, and the
Mhm.
music. But if you had to just like think about the money you're making on internet, right, social media, what would
Yeah.
your mom say now to that $40 you were excited about back then?
I mean, she loves it. That's why she brings up the story because
She's
she's
like, pay for my
so
mortgage, thanks.
yeah, I mean, she's just proud of Jess and I, and it's I don't know, it's cool being able to, I guess, make your parents proud on something that they were so unsure of as well. And
Mm,
but they were unsure, but still trusted me with it. Me
yep.
going like, "Hey guys, like I'm gonna do this thing, and I know it's probably not what you want me to do, but I'm gonna try it out and I'm gonna go for it." And they were like, "Okay, like try it,"
Yeah.
and being able to kind of prove myself in that way and have my parents, look at me now, kind of all these years later, and be proud of me and stuff. It's really cool. I have a
Mm,
song about it in the album. It's called Proud.
proud.
Yeah,
Proud
yeah,
mom and dad. I hope you're proud, mom and dad.
proud
Jess,
moment.
mom, dad, I hope you guys are all listening to this. My foot's cramping right now, is why I'm kind of getting adjusted. Wait, I'm serious,
You're
dude.
up
I
to
just bought
work.
new shoes. I hate that shit. You put new shoes on and your foot starts cramping.
You're gonna
You
break 'em.
said he's like, what did I sign up for? Like you're over here
Who
talking
is
about
this
your feet
guy?
cramping. What? It's Gabby. That's where you and I become best friends. Listen, so you were only in college for a year. Most people would be like, holy shit. How
Well,
did you even
two. The
almost
first year at FAU, then 1 year in acting school.
at
But
an
I basically started over when I went to FSU.
so then 1 year one place, 1 year in the next, and like and then just said screw it, I'm going to LA. What was going on in your head from acting school to then make the decision that you're just going to drop it and be like, I don't really need this, I'm gonna go to LA?
Well, I didn't. The decision was made. So I went to LA for the summer
Yeah.
of 2015. And while I was there, it was towards the end of the summer where I finally made the decision and called my professors and everything, and like put it on pause.
So
And
then
I like
getting out there pretty much called it for you. What changed your mind and not going back to Florida?
I had I signed with my managers, and they were, doing super well for me. And when I went out there in that summer, I was definitely able to, I guess, prove to myself, even prove to my parents. They came out and visited. When I told them I wanted to stay, they came out and visited. They met my managers. They
Mm,
saw what was, kind of what was happening, and just to see what was going on and what I was doing.
sure.
And yeah, I was able to just kind of show them and prove to them, and to myself, like, hey, I can make this happen right now. So let me take this opportunity because it may never come again. And college was always there. Um,
Mm.
so I took that leap of faith, and yeah, man, it paid off, which is wild. It's crazy now thinking back on it, because if you were to tell me, like, my senior year of high school self, that I'd be married to this beautiful Australian girl, and just
We love an Aussie. Wait, I didn't even know she was Australian. I love this. This is only getting
yeah,
better, bro.
yeah, man, she's Australian, dude.
Oh, good for you.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
This is great. You're living a good life. You've always been interested in content though. Where'd your fascination for videos come from, and how did that then flourish through all the stuff that you're doing now, man?
Dude, I don't know. It just was, you know,
Was
when
it yeah.
when like a kid is, you know, born to be something, whatever, like like these prodigy singers who are just like incredible, and you
Mm,
like from 3 years old they're singing, or like singing before they're talking, and you hear those kind of stories. I will always like, even like my parents' crappy 1 megapixel flip phone cameras, I was grabbing those, just trying to take
huh.
photos or videos or whatever it was. And I don't know, I just always had a fascination with making content. And um, it's cool that Vine came out at the time that it did, because it made it really accessible. But I was already like filming videos with my friends, like on Windows Movie Maker, just like trying to put stuff together, just like trying to ball on a budget.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
like that's the journey of content creating. You start by doing it, and listen, dude, like, because I remember when I was in college, it was the same thing. You didn't get paid for shit. You make all these beautiful videos. You can do as many video projects as you want. Luckily, we were doing them in school, and for you,
mhm.
it's like you were in acting school, so I'm sure you were doing that plus content,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
right? But like, there's something to be said about the indefinite time it's going to take to get your content seen. You were posting every single day on Vine, and then now you have like a consistent following and fan base enough to like keep everything up and flowing. But for a lot of people, it's like if they want to be creative content creators, triple C, that could be a thing.
There we go. Let's start a new brand.
Hey, you're about starting brands, bro. So am I. Let's start at triple C, right? He's over here sipping on his coffee. Like, what is this coffee you drinking? You're drinking alcohol this early in LA? You are.
No, bro. No, I actually don't drink. I don't drink actually.
Okay, everybody who's been on the show, you guys make me sound like a fucking alcoholic. So like listen, Gabby, you're the fourth or fifth guest in a row that I've been like, alcoholic beverage, favorite alcoholic drink. Hey, you want to do toast at the top of the Zoom call? And everybody's like, I don't drink. Listen, that's not a bad thing. That's a beautiful thing.
No. I like that, but that's very rare. I feel like.
No, okay. But listen, I think we're onto something here with the men of the hour. We bring very influential men to the show, for example, right? Guys who have celebrity, guys who have a lot of talent, a lot of companies, what have you. And the common thread might be like, cut the alcohol out. It might be a little bit of a distraction because for many reasons, people don't drink. It's like, you want to look good for your next shoot as an actor, as a model, or you might want to look good, just like feel good. You might want to get away from like too many parties and saying yes to alcohol all the time. And there's a lot of reasons people say no, but you are like you're keeping the trend going. So now I will need to keep that trend going and stop drinking. I'm going for champagne after our Zoom call, but that's okay, right? Work.
That's classy. That's classy.
Classy. I freaking love it, dude. So more on content though. So your YouTube channel, when did this start? Because when you started vlogging, that's an entirely different journey as a content creator, showcasing you and Jess's life. And something I can't help but ask you is, having 1 million people watch your guys' vlogs, is there a separation, or is it like, all right, it's time to get to work and like tape our lives, but now we're like showing people our lives and then making money on showing people our lives? Like, what is all of that about? How did it come to life? And then, ultimately, are you enjoying it?
Yeah, no, that is a really good question, actually, because at the beginning it started, we had more time on our hands. So at the beginning, it just started with doing it casually, I guess, working hard at it, but there was really no other obligations that were battling for our time, if that makes sense. So as that grew and the career grew, different opportunities come. You have an idea for a brand you want to start. You start, working on music, whatever the things are that start falling in, like the different verticals of business and art entertainment sphere. The time is, you only have so much time in a day, time a week, and all those things are, competing for your time and energy. So now it is our typical day to vlog now is on Tuesdays. On the back half of the day, we spend like basically noon the rest of the day filming and vlogging and kind of we have to block it out so other things don't take up that time.
Of course. But
we have then it kind of like falls back into that, okay, we have this free time during this pocket to just live our lives and film it during this time and do this, this vlog today. In this free window of time that we've given ourselves for this. So the time aspect is more calculated. I'm making sure that we have the time there to do it. And yeah, it's and we're trying to stay, you're trying to stay consistent with it. So it's every Saturday the video goes up, and we have an editor who's helping us now just to make sure we can stay on top of it. So it's a growing thing. Like the business evolves and it grows, content evolves and stuff, and we kind of just got to learn to adapt with it, because especially in the content world, stuff turns over so fast.
Yeah.
That you could be popular today.
I was just gonna say, you're hot today and then out tomorrow.
Yeah. So it's you really gotta. I mean, it was just like a learning experience of learning how to manage your time, learning how to manage the platform that you're on, the changes in algorithms, all that sort of stuff. There's different like external factors that can really shuffle the cards a bit, and you just got to learn to play with the hand that you're dealt.
And over 1 million people have stayed with you this entire time. Kudos. You
guys
are doing something right.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. As you live that life, and that's like your life, for speaking to me, as that's my life, it,
Yep.
is normal because it is normal for me. But really, in retrospect, and kind of like trying to look at it from another person's perspective, it is, we're very fortunate to, be in the position that we're in, and, you know, be able to have people that keep up with us and love our life and what we do, and be able to like speak into them, especially about relationships and stuff. A lot of
I was
people,
just gonna say that's
right?
where you guys probably got a lot of people interested. It's that people are interested in seeing how like you with your Latino background and your Australian girlfriend, look
Yeah,
at him
yeah,
smiling. He's like, yeah, I know I got some real shit. Cause you guys are like blending worlds together. Better yet, I have an actual thought. Zach King came to the show. I know you're familiar with him.
yeah, dude. His
So
content is so sick.
I'll link the two of you. The,
Oh,
he's half Asian.
mhm.
And anybody listening right now, this is not an exclusive. It's very proprietary. I don't even know if it's like going to come to life, but half breeds, right? Always get this flack of like, oh, you're never like Latino enough and you're never Australian enough. That's an interesting mix. Your baby's gonna be really cute. Do you have,
No. So a baby that you may have seen is my nephew.
okay. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
gonna say,
My
because
brother,
like
my brother,
here I
and
am on Instagram and I'm like, what is Gabby doing lately? And I'm seeing children. I'm like, what happened? So, but your
yeah.
children will look really cute. And I say that because like
Okay.
biracial kids, Gabby, are like something else. I'm
Yeah.
biracial. I think I'm good looking. I'm not that good looking. Like Zach King's good looking, right? But anyway, the reason
Bro, I was about to say, it's a pleasure just having you on my computer screen right now.
the reason I say that is because like I want to in the future talk about biracial people, right? The best of both worlds rather than
Yeah.
not having enough of one or the other half. Anyway, just wanted to drop that in
Yeah,
here,
no, dude, I love that. It
right?
is cool seeing how, um, I mean, I guess in the effort of like curbing racism and all that stuff,
Mm.
seeing all biracial couples meeting, and like there's not like this group of people and that group of people, and
Anymore. And for so long, have you ever heard, but maybe in LA, they say it a lot here in New York City. At one point, there may not be one race to a person. So, for example, if you look 50 years from now, people would have had children with so many different types of people to the point where ultimately, again, and to use the word indefinitely, it's just going to happen. We're going to see many, many, many races in one person.
dude, I love that, man. I
Isn't
mean,
it beautiful?
I know it's awesome. It's so cool, dude. The
And you're
human
gonna your baby's gonna be a product of
biology,
that.
dude. I mean, yeah, I love it, man. Because even myself, like I'm Cuban, Colombian, Spanish, and those are like the main three. But then like I have some French and Italian and a few different like South American, just like different things. But they're all mostly, Latino. But I, it's just gonna be cool, like taking that, and then my wife's Australian background with
Mm,
like German and Welsh that she has and different stuff, and kind of, you know, having some biracial children.
that's it, dude.
Yeah, man.
You bring up this concept of time. I would keep going down the questions I already had because I had to, because again, you're an encyclopedia. I'm kidding. But in the best ways. You're an encyclopedia of inspiration and
Mm.
experience,
Wow, thank
right?
you.
But time. What are your thoughts on how you utilize time, especially since we've been in the middle of a worldwide pandemic now? How do you use time? How do you like to use time? When you look at a 24-hour day, what happens in the mind of Gabriel Conte?
24-hour day. So I think the first thing I really like to make sure of is that I'm getting enough sleep, especially with my struggle with mental health and how that can creep up sometimes. Um, I try to make sure I'm getting close to, if not sometimes more
Mm,
than 8 hours of sleep a night. Because I know if there's a lack of that, that can mess me up a little bit if I have a lack of sleep long term.
mm,
So that's, my night is around 8 hours of sleep. And as far as work, I used to try and just work so much, like every
mm,
breathing hour of the day. And I fell into this really bad hole that if I was resting,
yeah.
I would feel like I was procrastinating and giving myself guilt for not re-energizing myself. Like there was like a guilt trigger. If I sat to rest, it was like this little voice in my head that's like, you could be working, you could be doing more, you're getting behind other people. And it was like a really bad spot for
Mm,
myself. So just really making sure I have definitive I'm starting working now. This is when I end work. I like put the bow on it for the day. I spend time with my wife, make
yeah.
sure, I have time to like wind down at night so I can have quality sleep. Um, Jess and I take Saturdays off
Good.
completely. And we used to not to, but I don't know, Jess and I are both Christian, and there's like a term called Sabbath, um,
Hmm.
basically a day of rest. And we decide to have that on Saturdays where we just rest and recuperate, and we don't work. And sometimes that day switches around in the week for us, depending on if other obligations pop up. But we want to make sure we get, you know, a day of rest in our week to make sure we can
Mm,
recuperate and re-energize and spend time with family and friends, and kind of have that day to just to recuperate from our usually busy schedule. Yeah, and it's such a,
mhm.
I mean, and I say it because I am Christian and have those values. I do like say it from that perspective, but strictly practical as well.
Mm,
Even if you're not Christian or anything, like resting is so important. Like it is very, very important to make sure you can just kind of like regain your energy back and
mm.
recuperate and all that stuff. So I highly recommend, segmenting those things, with like work and having your time to work. And when you're working really hard, and that there's, you're going to stop working at a certain time, and it kind of gives you that, mental goal, that finish line every day that you can cross. And then you go into like, you're winding down or spending time with your family or friends, or
Mhm.
for me it's my wife at the end of the day and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, just really trying to uh create some rhythms in my week, so it feels like a continual flowing thing, and building really positive habits
Mm.
through those continue to benefit my life and the lives of people around me through the way I'm able to structure my week.
I love how you bring up guilt, because I think everybody feels guilty when they're chasing what I would think is bigger than themselves, which is usually a career, a goal, an aspiration, a
Yeah.
company, this, that, and the third, a dream. And
Mhm.
it's like almost every waking moment you want to be working on that thing. But how many times are we looking in the mirror like, gosh, I'm tired and I just don't want to do it? And
Yeah.
you look at the most successful people, you just said this, and it's like, no, I sleep 8 hours a day. Have you ever been told, because you do so much, and I get told the same thing. People are often asking, oh, do you ever sleep? Like, gosh, oh, you're always on and you're always on doing something new, or you always have something up your sleeve. Have you ever been told that, I guess, from the outside looking in, what's your reaction when people either ask you if you don't get enough sleep, or, tell you you're doing so much and stuff? What's usually your reaction?
um Yeah, I mean, I tend to at least I hope that I tend to brag about my team,
Mm,
and just having the right support system. My wife and I help each other.
mm,
If she needs help with something, I try and be there, for her, whether it's a deal or she needs photos, I'll, go be her photographer, or, whatever it is. Maybe I'll edit a part of a video that she needs. I mean, I don't do that a lot because she really likes to edit her videos, but whatever it is. And then even my team, my assistant is amazing. She
yeah.
takes care of so much, even in our personal lives. Just both on the work side and just like
Like
around
having
the
the right
house.
people around you too,
Mhm. Yeah.
personally and professionally. Luckily for people like who work in media and entertainment, a lot of the people who work with you professionally, I had an IG live last night with my boys who are all in the industry,
Yeah.
acting, music, whatever. And we were just talking about how, like, when you work with people you really like, or you're just supported by people and professionally that just happen to play in your personal life too, you
It's
know?
such a blessing, man. Yeah, I just started a podcast with two of my homies, and
Yep.
it's been so fun. Like we're all, taking different bits of the work, and it's just so cool. Like working with people who you're so close with, specifically in like entertainment and
Right.
digital media and stuff. Because I know a lot of people in like the business world are like,
I
don't have
know. They're
friends.
looking at us like, "Shut the hell up. I don't even have
I
that."
know,
But
I know.
what I was gonna say is that anybody can have that. I would,
Yeah.
even if you and I worked in fintech, like, or Wall Street. Ooh, no, I hate
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah, dude.
People talk about the stock markets, and I'm like, wait, what, the supermarket? Where are we going? We're gonna get some food. People are like, oh, the stocks are changing, and like Uber, and what was that one that went up? And hold on, I'm trying to think of it
Dude,
was
there's crypto right now. Is that what you're
no,
talking?
yes, but
No.
there was a company that went up in sales. Uh,
GameStop.
GameStop. I knew it was random and out of this world.
Yeah,
So like when that happened, I was like, oh, what does that mean? Like, are people making money? Are they losing? I don't know that stuff. And I will own that shit because I don't want to know what it is, right? It's complicated. But if you and I, people like you and I, it's all perspective and personality traits. If we were working in fintech, we would still probably find ways to work with people that we really like, or
yeah,
to,
yeah,
partner with friends that have similar personality traits and stuff. And it's always something you can find in a job or
yeah.
jobs, right?
Especially when you're really intentional about the way you approach life as a whole, both personally and professionally.
Mm,
Because that saying of what is it?
birds that flock together stay together or something. No.
I mean, in the same train of thought, like
There's
show
so
me
many sayings like that.
show me your friends and I'll show you your future. That's one of my favorite sayings. Yeah.
Say it again.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Break that one down.
So basically, it goes into that whole theory that the five closest people who are around you, your five closest friends who you spend the most time with, is what you're going to become. So
Wow.
if you're surrounding yourself, and that goes like what I was saying with being intentional with who you surround yourself with, people who are uplifting, and how you're saying you like to be around people with like this amazing energy, encouraging, like just
Yeah.
uplifting community, both in your professional sphere and your personal sphere. That's you're going to grow with those people in the same direction that you're all headed. And if you're surrounding yourself with, if your five closest people aren't driven, have I don't know, for like me, like would have bad marriages or whatever it is, you're going to slowly,
Mm.
adapt to what they're doing because that's what you're surrounded by and that's what you're going to know.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. That I would write it down, but then I would be over here like focusing on my penmanship. Did you ever think about that whenever you write stuff down? Like, because you're signing things now, right? Like you're Mr. Famous.
Well, I haven't signed things in a while, man. It's
Yeah, but your new album just came out, so I'm going to ask you for your signature when you send me an
yeah,
album.
there we go.
Have you ever written and then you're like, gosh, I just pay attention too much to how nice it looks as opposed to like what it
Oh,
actually.
legit, yeah, like
A
right.
lot of people suffer with that. I call it like calligraphy anxiety. It's like you write, and I'm
Yeah.
always paying it down. I'm like, gosh, that looks really ugly, and I'm like, what am I
Dude,
even
that's so
writing?
funny. If I miss a letter when I'm like writing my to-do list, I'm like, oh gosh. But I'm like, get over your pride, bro. Like just write
Just
the
write it down.
freaking. Yeah.
I've always heard this, and this makes more and more sense as we keep getting older. The uglier your handwriting, the smarter you are. My mom used to always say that,
Oh, that's
and
devastating.
she has shit handwriting, and she's smart, I guess. My dad has beautiful handwriting, and I thought he was smart. So it's not for everybody,
And
but
that's
for
just the
me,
way that your mom was trying to say that she was really smart. And
there's really bad handwriting. I think
yeah,
it's just a cop up, right? Like if you have shit handwriting, you just no. Oh, because a lot of doctors have terrible
oh my
handwriting.
gosh,
It's like, what
dude.
prescription did you just give me? I can't even read it.
Yeah,
Thanks. You're gonna
oh,
freaking
oh
kill
my
me. You
God.
gave me the wrong dose of like all this shit that I probably shouldn't be taking. No, no, no. That says this. It's the right formula. Okay, well, your handwriting sucks. Kidding.
Dude,
Any
yeah, I
doctor
don't
out
think
there,
that,
thanks for working. Cause
right. Appreciate it, man.
God.
Yeah, wild, dude. Wild.
You married at a very young age. I gotta ask you about it. You and Jess, here we are talking about like planning your babies and stuff, but you guys have been together for a minute, but it was at a very young age that you guys got together and then decided to put a ring on it.
Yeah, man.
It's not
So
common at all. And like, I guess
no,
in the world, sometimes, listen, I was in Tennessee. That stuff is very common to anybody from Tennessee and like Southeast listening. Y'all
yeah,
be marrying each other very early. And that's a good thing. It's beautiful. But for the entertainment industry, because people are always working to your point earlier, like nonstop, they don't care. They care more about their network rather than, the person that they're dating. And usually it's just for fun. But you guys pursued each other quite early to be married.
yeah. We got married. I was 22 and she was 20. Yeah, and now 4 years and change. Yeah, so I'm 26 now and she's 24, and yeah, man, it's amazing. I mean, it's hard work, but it's the best, and we're best friends.
Oh,
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's awesome.
I
But
love that
yeah, we
for you
met.
guys.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, so we did long distance from the US to Australia.
That's hard.
Yeah. So that's why because we met at the beginning of 2016 and got married within a year. And it's quick, but like doing that long distance from
So much happened.
to Australia, yeah, it's like a 14-hour time difference or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's about the same as Japan too. That's a struggle bus because it's her night for her, morning for you, vice versa.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
y'all did it.
yeah.
When you marry so young, would you say that it's hard? What's the hardest part of being young and pursuing marriage with someone, even if they're your best friend? What's the hardest part about it?
Being young and pursuing marriage with someone. What is the hardest part? I want to give a right answer for this.
Any answer is the right answer, bro. This is your life.
Yeah. I mean, I think really, which sounds weird, but like the vetting process, if that makes sense,
Yeah,
because and Jess and I were actually just recently talking about this. I approached relationships. I kind of didn't want to waste my time with relationships unless it was going to be serious,
I get
and
it.
we were going to together work towards marriage, because that's like the goal. And you know, with our line of work and entertainment and stuff, an unhealthy relationship will dramatic as creatives too. Like it really affects your
Oh,
work.
it's
And
a distraction. It's
yeah, so much. So I approaching a relationship, I really just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page about a lot, and just kind of like early on, even before we were dating, just asking questions of her opinion on marriage and her opinion on kids in the future. And
asking the questions that nobody asks usually within the first year, if you think about it.
yeah, just like making sure our values aligned and stuff like that, just because if you're on the same page about things. And yeah, I think I heard Tim Tebow say something like this. It was having your purpose in common. If you both had the same purpose in common, you'll be able to deal with the really hard, challenging things. Where if you just like kind of loosely date or fall into a relationship without truly understanding the other person and like the life direction that they want to go in, you can end up at some pretty difficult crossroads when the rubber meets the road, and
Wow.
trying to figure out real life stuff. So for us
Yeah.
specifically, our biggest challenge is where to live. My family's from Florida, she's from Australia. We have a career in entertainment, which technically now is anywhere. But
Yeah.
it's like dealing with that dynamic is something that we're continually working through and trying to get more on the same page about. But yeah, we know that our like our ultimate goal isn't just the career or anything like that. We have our faith and like our personal lives and family, and that is what's most important. And we want our career to benefit our lives, not our lives to be for our career. So really approaching life in that kind of way, and approaching our marriage in that kind of way, and prioritizing. Yeah, I don't know. I could ramble on a lot about this kind of stuff, but
We
really
have
just
an
like
hour. We have an hour.
yeah, but
He's
just
like,
like making sure. I guess all in all, just making sure that you really have the same goals in common. And there's a lot of people when you're dating, it's more for fun sometimes, and you kind of don't ask those questions, and you can stumble into a marriage sometimes, not even thinking through those things and thinking long term.
man, wise words from such a young man. That's deep, because we also see that you and Jess are so happy. Do you think having had those conversations about life so early on and feeling like you guys got so deep so quickly? I'm all about depth, dude. Like, we'll be best friends after this, because this is what happens on the show. Like, all 34 of you guys that have been on the show, like, I just become friends with, because this is real shit, right? This is where real friendships happen. It's through deep conversation. But in general, with the two of you, specifically you and Jess, do you feel like having had those deep conversations early on has now allowed you to just really focus on pursuit of a happy relationship?
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
because it allows you in marriage. There needs to be the realization that you are on the same team. So when you approach any fights or any little, I guess, any bickering or quarrels that happen, being able to kind of look at it from like a third person perspective and be like, okay, we're actually on the same team. We need to not be fighting each other. We need to be attacking the problem. You know?
Yeah.
And I think it's about perspective, and then the way you, I guess, practically operate within that perspective
Sure.
to just solve problems that arise in a marriage. But as far as like happiness and I guess finding joy in marriage, yeah, man, it's I think it's really learning practical steps, like I mentioned, just like kind of learning practical steps that you can apply and learning each other. I heard one time of a guy who was like talking about being a husband, and he was basically saying, you want to have a PhD in your wife. Like you need to know your wife and learn your wife and know what makes her tick and what she likes and what she doesn't like, and understand her, because that way you are going to be a better husband to better serve her and be with her. And that perspective is like, oh my gosh, I need to like.
Plus, it makes it easy when you guys go on quiz shows and you have to answer questions about Jess and she has to answer questions about you. It'll make life really easy in that sense too. Trust me,
Yeah,
one day that's going to happen. The two of you will
yeah.
get invited.
When I'm
Hey,
on Jimmy
how well
Fallon,
do you? Yeah, how well do you know Jimmy Fallon? You hear that one?
yeah, Jimbo, if you're watching, I'm sitting right here.
Because that's like, you guys have something so special. People are going to want to know how well did you have to understand each other to be so happy so early on to then become married. More on your music really quickly. Beyond, or I was going to say beyond, belong,
Yeah.
belong.
Mm-hmm.
This is an album that I know took some time, took a lot of thought. Sounds like each track has its own purpose and mission to the listener. I loved it. I loved the "Belong," which was the first single on the album, and then you have "Los Angeles" and "Proud" for your parents. You now have merchandise around the album, dude. You're doing the whole thing, but this was kind of grounded in your experience with depression.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that people talk about anxiety more than depression. And I'm like, guys, they go hand in hand. So like
They do. Yeah.
anxiety leads to depression.
Mm-hmm.
Depression and anxiety are equal in some sense. I'm no
Mm-hmm.
mental health expert. I will never claim to be one, but we've all experienced anxiety and then immediately have faced depression.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like you're now coping with it? Should you ever feel like you're in a depressed state, where have you come, especially after launching a whole album? I would imagine that's very therapeutic to just write everything out and then have fans relate to it and be receptive of it. And like, that's fulfilling in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
But to really now think about how you deal with depression, if you've ever felt depressed most recently.
Yeah, man. One of my buddies, he actually talked about it on one of our podcasts. It's my buddy Chad. He's a huge fan of 21 Pilots, and one of their albums, I'm pretty sure it was one of the albums, it's called Blurry Face. And the reason why it's called that is because I think it was one of the guys in the band, that was the name that he gave his like depression and anxiety.
Oh, got it.
So he could identify it and know that, like, he could give it a seat at a table, and kind of like how I've been saying, approaching something from third person, kind of like approach it like, it's not a problem with me. It is this external thing that I deal with, but it's a voice that can influence me, and it has a seat at the table, and I can hear what it's saying, but there's other seats at the table as well, and other people who are saying different things, and what voice am I going to listen to?
Got it. Yeah.
So kind of really understanding, and I think once you go through it, it's something that I've especially over the past few months, I've been really learning to kind of, I guess, master in a way, is once those feelings arise and I start to feel that anxiety or whatever those feelings or thoughts may be, recognizing it right away and stopping, and like just put a hard stop on what is causing it and do something that will combat it.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Could be anything.
spending time with my wife, going outside and shooting some hoops, praying, whatever it may be to whether like practically, spiritually, to really fend those thoughts and that sort of stuff off. Because I really had to recognize like my depression, and this goes back to like my faith ties and stuff like that. So bear with me for a second. But like my depression, I kind of understand that it's not a problem with me. It is a way that I think the enemy, Satan, the devil, whatever you're, demons, whatever you want to call that, that is kind of like an attack on my mind, and it is, and I under kind of like coming to that realization is like, no, it's not a problem with me. Like I'm okay. These are external thoughts that are being like pushed onto me that I can actually learn to defend. You know what I mean? So that's for those of you who kind of are Christian or whatever, there's some stuff and then some other practical stuff that I'd like to give.
Spiritual and practical, right? That's
Yeah.
what we get with Gabby. You
Trying to balance it out,
I wanted to, life is a balance, bro. Something I was
Yeah.
gonna mention earlier too. It's like you take Saturdays off. I take no days off. The only reason I take no days off, for anybody listening, you can choose no days off in the gym, especially. I take one day off out of the gym actually, but like some people operate differently with how they want to work. I believe in your system. I believe, and my friends do it on Saturday and Sunday. And they're always like, oh my God, no. Like, you need to stop working on Saturday. No. It's just about like where you're putting your time and where you're putting your energy and where you're allotting a lot of that to per day. I think it was yesterday. I was in the middle of the day. It was nice out, 70 finally in New York City.
Really?
Gosh, finally. It's been so cold, dude. But I just went on a bike ride for like an hour and a half, and I just didn't care about anything else. I was like, I'm going to go on a bike ride. It's nice outside. And and you got to give yourself flexibility. What do they always say? You have to give yourself permission to give you, like if you want Saturday, because it's different when you have a wife and you guys have to make all these arrangements and you're probably doing a lot to like decompress and stuff on a Saturday. Some single 24-year-old like me, absolutely the hell not. I'm just going to treat every day. Paris Hilton, I really hope she listens to this. I think it's the third time I've said this on this show.
Really?
She's funny. So my mom used to always say two things Paris Hilton used to say. My mom listens, so like I really want to say this.
Shout out, Mom.
Shout out, Mom. Oh, our moms would really get along, especially
Right.
I have a gut feeling.
Shout out, give him the plug.
We have to. So she used to always mimic Paris Hilton, and there's reasons why I'm saying all this bullshit. So Paris Hilton used to say, treat every day like it's your birthday. I think it's trademarked. And then on the birthday note, she would always be like, I think at some point there was a slogan of hers where she was like, happy birthday, bitch. And it just made it really, you want me to say that again? Happy birthday, bitch.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And I died. And when my mom used to, so every birthday I'm like, and my mom's even like on the February 20th, I was like, happy birthday, bitch. And there's something about, Paris was onto something many years ago, but the reason I bring up the whole idea of celebrating your birthday really is because you have the opportunity every day to be like, all right, I'm gonna spend 2 hours in the gym and treat myself. But I don't think life sometimes, right? Life doesn't have to be about treating yourself. Like, why are you hard on yourself? Why are you working 12 hours a day and then feeling like you have to treat yourself tomorrow? Go on, right?
And the weight that you give things that sometimes don't deserve that much weight, or emotional weight, because you could be thinking like something is super important. I have to do this, get this done, but like it may not matter as much as you're making it matter.
Yeah.
Taking that off can alleviate just so much pressure and stress and whatever. Yeah.
And that all leads again back to what we were just talking about, which is anxiety and depression. A lot of that comes from stress and pressure, and you don't need to give it to yourself. I bring up the idea of depression and where your album probably was grounded in, because we have New Earth.
Yes.
And we have Grace Coffee. I want to know about these companies, dude. I was looking on your Instagram pages for them. I'm huge fans. I'm literally going to get off this call. I told you to send me the link for not only your album merch, but I'm going to go buy New Earth and Grace Coffee as well.
Appreciate it.
Where did these come from? I know one of them are both faith-based for the most part. And what kind of like inspired both companies? And then how did you get them off the ground, Mr. Entrepreneur?
Bro. Let's go. So New Earth specifically, we had been doing just like, you kind of start up releasing normal merch and whatever. and that kind of turned, I was just kind of like taking that more seriously because I love clothing and fashion and stuff. So I was taking that more seriously and just like trying to make some cool designs and stuff. And that led to me really approaching like the custom world of clothing and,
Yep.
you know, and that was its whole own thing. And I was like, man, I really need to turn this into like its own brand that could potentially exist outside of, you know, Jess and I's merch, you know? So I created New Earth, and it's basically like, so it's a faith-based company. New
Yep.
Earth is a term from the Bible. And I just loved it because it really, just the name itself really kind of says what the company is about. Everything is made ethically, and we're trying to move towards really making everything like pretty sustainable and stuff like that.
Mm,
And that's like the goal for the company and the way we produce clothing.
mm,
But it's also with I guess the faith-based vision behind it is
sure.
fighting for a new earth. With, you know, we donate to a company called AIM,
Hmm.
Agape International Missions, and basically what they do is they rescue women from human trafficking,
Wow.
and they actually employ those women in different factories. Actually, this bracelet that I'm wearing is from, so this bracelet that I'm wearing is from that company and is made by women rescued from human trafficking, and they have
Mm,
jobs, so they don't have to maybe go back into that line of work or whatever. They're rescued and then given a support system.
wow.
So, yeah, it's a really, the company's really cool, and I really believe in their mission. So kind of like that ties into our donating to them, 10% of all profits to them,
Wow.
really helps us continue and to fight for that mission,
Mm.
of a new earth. You know what I mean? Kind of like usher that idea forward.
Then the
Yeah.
coffee company.
Yeah, man. So similarly, we have so it's a subscription-based coffee company. It's called Grace Coffee,
Yep.
and it's named after my mom. Her name is Grace. So there's a big like story behind it. My mom actually has HIV, and that whole story is pretty crazy. With, you know, how her and my dad met, and me and all my siblings should have HIV, but we don't, and kind of like
Mm,
crazy. And that's how my family kind of like found their faith.
got
You
it.
know? So
Mm,
that whole crazy story, my mom was afforded a lot of grace in her life. So we
wow.
thought it'd be really cool to name the company Grace Coffee, and um, use this subscription-based coffee company
Mm,
to help children in need in developing countries. So basically, a portion of every coffee subscription goes to a specific child, helping sponsor them through a company called Compassion International. And
mm,
Compassion International helps, they bring education and you know, clean water, food, all of that. And the normal system is, you know, like someone would pay to sponsor a child at a specific price per month,
mm.
and then it's a monthly thing that you're helping, you know, give support to this child who needs it. But we're trying to kind of approach it a different way, where we have, but so Jess and I have two sponsored children, and then my brother. So I started Grace Coffee with my brother.
Mm.
When I say we, that's what that's about. And my brother and his wife sponsor their own children, and my family is always kind of like sponsored through Compassion International. So it's cool being able to work with them directly, and have these coffee subscriptions go towards sponsoring children. So that's
Mm.
what the whole um, I guess business model is about. Yeah.
Sounds like a purpose-driven business model,
Yeah, man, we're
right?
really trying to tie purpose into everything that we're doing, because like,
I love that
you know, clothing is
so
sick.
much.
What's the point of, you know,
Yeah, it's the
clothing?
same. Goes for anything. Goes for this podcast, your you know, anybody who creates anything. It's like, if you don't have a purpose to it, then your customers aren't going to feel anything when they purchase it. Now I'm really going to go probably buy more than what I was going to, because you shared that. Where can people find your New Earth Apparel and Grace Coffee?
Yeah, so New Earth is newearth.co, and then we have gracecoffee.com.
Gosh, .co.com. Can we talk about podcasting for a minute, dude?
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I've learned, I've learned that podcasting is one of those spaces where It was untreaded territory on my end. I was more about trying to interview people in person. You and I would have been in an event. I would have probably met you in LA at some type of carpet or beneficiary situation, and maybe have interviewed you then, right? Or like a YouTube award show or something. But this is what we're doing now, right? So I was like,
Yeah.
gosh, the alternative is like Zoom calls. This is what everybody's doing at the networks to
All day.
Netflix to podcasting.
Mhm.
Why did you get into podcasting and launch one? And what's been the best part, in my opinion, of having such natural conversation where you can just hit the record button and say, you know what, bam, there's an episode.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, so I was in Australia. So one of my co-hosts is Zach, and
Mm.
he's from Australia, where Jess is from. So we were in Australia helping Jess's parents move. He came to help out too because he's a homie, and it was us two doing trip. They're like a 40-minute drive from their old house to their new house. We were doing trips back and forth, like picking some stuff up, dropping it off, going back, and each drive we noticed that we kind of would touch on a different topic and just talk for the whole like 40 minutes that we were driving.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, dude, it's kind of like a podcast.
Our life's
And
like a podcast, bro.
I was like, we should just like monetize it, you know?
Listen, bro, that's actually where your gold ticket is. You just know how to like make the most of everything, literally make money the most of it. And it's not just money, but like if you're going to do something, right, you got to figure out some ways to like make it worthwhile and make it worth the living. But to your point, gosh, some of these natural conversations are worth airing.
Yeah, man. So we were driving and I go, bro, let's do it now. And on the start of one of the drives, I slapped the dashboard and I was like, I don't know what I probably said, like relationships or something. I was like, relationships, go. And then we just started talking a pretend podcast on this drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, it was flawless, but no, it was clean.
Effortless, man.
Yeah, it was just a really great conversation. And then ran it by my wife and ran it by her family when we were eating dinner that night. And this was back in the middle of 2019.
Okay. Yep.
I would say summer because it's summer here, but in Australia, Southern Hemisphere, it was the winter there. Yeah, crazy, bro. It's crazy. But anyway, so then we were like, we're both really close friends with our buddy Chad, and we were like, dude, he would bring so much wisdom and insight to this, just to a podcast and what we're trying to do. So we asked him, like, dude, you want to start a podcast? And like within seconds, he was like, yes. So
right.
that started being developed, and COVID really put like a pause on stuff because we wanted to do it in person and everything like that. And then
there's a lot to it.
Yeah, and we did. We launched the podcast with iHeartRadio, so that deal was kind of in development, and then the pandemic pushed that timeline back even more, and then eventually we kind of got the green light, contracts were signed, everything was ready to go, and
boom, and so, now it's out to the world.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy. So Chad and I are able to be together in person right now when we film, but then we Zoom Zach in or
I
Skype.
love that. It's all you can do. Listen, you got to make the best of it.
Yeah.
Last topic for you of the hour.
Let's go.
Right? Topic of the hour. I wanted to bring up this term called effortless. Yeah. By the way, is your podcast is available on everywhere you can listen to podcasts, right?
Yeah. It's called Prompt Us. So basically, we take topics that the audience submit that are focused around like spirituality, professional life and personal life, and how they're not all separate things and they can all benefit each other. And,
oh, great.
We kind of have just conversations around those topics that are all prompted by listeners of the podcast.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect into this next term I was going to give you. It's the
word. Did I just prompt you?
Yeah, you prompted me.
There we go.
I'm going to give you this word. Maybe I prompted you. Effortless. I'm going to say it again. Effortless. When you think of the word effortless, essentially what comes to mind? And then I'll give you the reason why I brought it up.
What comes to mind? I think the first thing that's coming to my mind right now is when you're kind of like attacking work that feels effortless. I guess like being in your flow state.
Yeah.
Term where you just like are working on something and it's just a natural, like it's just going and it's kind of like an out of body experience of you can just work on something and you're in this flow. Some people it's like accounting and they love it. For me, it's like working on a sort of creative thing, whether it's like a song that's just like coming out and working, or I'm working on video and like I'm editing and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know exactly the vision for this thing, and I'm like flying through the edit and stuff. So yeah, just I guess being in your flow state. Yeah.
In your flow.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about the other flow. That's the first thing. You said you're being in your flow, and I'm like, God, the chicks listening to this are probably like, F off. Anyway, the reason
I'm at flow state. Flow
flow
state.
state. Okay,
Flow
everybody,
state.
for the record,
Whole term.
flow state.
Yes.
Because I thought about this yesterday in the shower. Literally, what was yesterday? Thursday, I was in the shower and I was like, God, the word effortless just is something I've been taping on to people that I see doing
Mhm.
things that they love. And it's something that when I look at someone like you and I'm asked how to describe the work that you do. So for example, post this episode that we're going to launch with you, it's like, oh, what was he like? And how is Gabby? And did you guys have fun? And blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, you make things look effortless. And then I remember a lot of people telling me that I make things look effortless either on this show or anytime I've interviewed people. And I'm
Mhm.
like, gosh, but doesn't that all tie back to the fact that you just love what you do? Could be it you're singing, be it you're acting, you're producing content, you are YouTubing, you're anything that you're doing, podcasting now, running two businesses. But I would just wanted to talk about the word effortless because I feel like that's something that it can happen for a lot of people, right? Your job and your life
Yeah.
can happen effortlessly, but it goes back to your point just a minute ago where spiritually, professionally, or personally, it's all one because it's all just you. And I
Mhm.
always tell people in order to build this like effortless trait, I guess, within the work that you do, not only do you have to love it, but you actually have to start telling yourself that that's a part of you as
Mhm.
opposed to just something separate. What do you say?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, for me specifically, I kind of have this like conversation in my head a lot of like where actually is my identity, and I know a
Mm,
part of that is this is my work. I mean, it's not. I don't want to put my full identity on my work because that's dangerous. But a part of my identity is being a creative person and trying to create things and
mm,
all that stuff. And I know, and yeah, I agree with you that that really being able to understand like where your identity lies and for me I guess like what was given to me as my identity and how I'm going to utilize that and those gifts and things that I'm more and maybe like I want to work on something but I'm actually not supposed to be doing that. I may not be as talented at that as I am as at this other thing.
mm.
Having the self-awareness to discern that stuff and what you should really be focusing your time on and everything. So yeah, I kind of like lost track on where your question
But it's a
started.
podcast, so we can
I
lose
fell
track.
down the rabbit hole.
We can lose track on everything. Pa, pa.
Yeah, right.
And listen, we've hit a good hour mark, buddy. You've shared a
Awesome.
lot. The reason I left effortless at the end of our conversation was because you make a lot of what we've covered in this past hour look very effortless. And for that, it's like
Yeah,
again, why we created this show, right? It's to get a better understanding for what you're doing, why you're doing it. But dude, thank you for being here, for saying yes to me, allowing us to share your story, trusting me with your story first and foremost on this show. You have a lot going for you. I'm excited. I can't wait to get off this Zoom call and go to those websites and purchase it. Your merch, bro. I'll rep it here in New York City for you. I'll hold the fort in New
thank you,
York.
man.
I
Hold it
trust it.
down. Let's go. Let's go, dude.
You have to, man. Everybody listening, Gabriel, thank you so much again, buddy. Gabriel is on, or Gabby, but I have to tell you Gabriel because he's Gabriel Conte on all your social media platforms. Give him a follow, a subscribe, show him and Jess some love. The man of the hour. He's got a lot going on, right? You got a fun journey to follow once you guys follow him. But thank you
Let's
for
go.
giving us the last hour of your time. To anybody tuning in, it means the world to me, to the show team, and everyone who makes the show possible, including Gabby. So now it's time to have some real fun, buddy. We're going to
Let's go.
go and we're going to drop off the podcast and we're going to go to YouTube for a game we like to call Questions of the Hour. So we'll talk to you guys again soon. Gabriel Conte and I had just spent the last hour on the Men of the Hour podcast, and I get to call him Gabby now. But I was asking so many deep questions. We had so
We're
much fun
that
for the last
close.
hour. We're that close after an hour of deep conversation. That's what happens on the show. But now we're going to play a game of questions of the
Mhm.
hour, and we're doing it differently this time. Usually I've prepared 20 questions on the back end, buddy, from your fans, from our team, from myself. This time I have a random deck of cards with random questions that I have not seen yet. So both you and I will be very surprised by the answers you have, but there's 20 of them. So you can just expect that I'm going to ask you 20 random questions and we're going to need to get the answer that comes to mind first. Are you
Yeah,
ready?
yeah. Let's go.
First question, my friend. You
Mhm.
get to relive high school or college. Which one do you choose and why?
I'm gonna say high school because I dropped out of college, so clearly my importance on that was it wasn't that high. But high school because I wish I could I wish I could go back with what I know now and really start attacking and honing in my craft
Mm,
at a younger age.
yeah, but you're still so young, bro. You've done so well. What did 12-year-old you want to be when you grew up?
Dude, honestly, probably an actor.
And look, you made it. And you did that plus so much more. What are the 3 crucial routines that you keep if you had to pick 3?
3 crucial routines that I keep. I read my Bible in the morning,
Yeah.
and I have a rest day to make sure I don't overwork
Every
myself.
Saturday.
Saturday, we talked about that on the podcast. Go listen
That's
to it. I'm trying to give you the plug, man. All right. And then one recent thing that I've been doing with Jess is her love language is quality time. So making sure that once we go to bed at night, spending that time once we both get into bed, just whether it's like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, just catching up on the day, just having really one-on-one conversation without our phones and just really like reconnecting and just being aligning with each other, you know?
Such a grounded man. Nothing says I love you like, finish the sentence. Nothing says I love you like
Oh man. To me,
to you.
to me, uh, it's gonna sound weird, but like compliments.
Yeah, like nothing says I love you like what feels
Yeah,
like I love you when people do things for you?
no, literally like compliments. Like I
Oh,
just mentioned love languages. Like my love language is words of affirmation. So if someone, like if I show someone a song I've written and they
okay.
start like hyping me up about it,
Oh, I love your hoodie.
oh,
Isn't that the hoodie from your I love it, dude. I love Belong. I love your hoodie.
oh, appreciate
And
it,
I
man.
love you, Gabby.
Dude, and I feel loved.
If you could close your eyes and transport yourself anywhere at this moment, where would you go?
Oh my gosh.
Look at him closing his eyes, pretending he's actually going somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, where would I want to go right now? Australia, probably, because we haven't
Oh, I
visited
love
Jeff's
that.
family. We haven't
Take me
visited
with
Jeff's
you. Take me.
for
I've
a
never
while.
been. I love Australians. We all have at least one go-to dance move. Show us yours.
Oh my gosh. The show. You want me
You
to show
guys,
you? Oh, no. Here we go. Oh, God. If I'm
you're
gonna
getting
do
him out of the chair after an hour. Don't hurt yourself, kid.
my legs are asleep. Right?
You gonna do a backflip?
Here, hold on. I gotta figure this out. No. Are you kidding me? I'm flattered. I'm flattered that you think I can do it.
I can do one. I'll show you later. Wait, what's the
Party
go-to dance
Rock
move?
starts playing, and Party Rock starts playing on the thing.
Hey, da, 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 da. I like that. It's it's like I was thinking you were gonna end up doing the whoop whoop whoop. You remember that?
No. Is that the TikTok thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've all had both. Describe your best or worst date ever.
Oh my gosh. My best or worst date. Okay. I'm gonna go best was when I proposed to Jess.
Hmm.
And we went on a date, and then I took her to we went to dinner in Laguna Beach, and then I took her to like a cliffside lookout at sunset and proposed to her there.
See, I just want you to be my husband after that one, dude. Jess, you're lucky. They said it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert, something we talked about. If you could instantly complete 10,000 hours on one skill, what would it be?
Right now,
Yep.
directing.
Ooh.
I really want to direct films and kind of go at least I think I do, and that's like a direction that I kind of want to start moving and dabbling my feet in that. And who knows what that could end up turning into. But it'll be really cool to develop that skill.
You've made a lot of things happen for your life at a young age. You're going to be a director. Watch, I'm calling it right now. Yeah, and I get a free sweatshirt for that one. Okay. Where do you want to retire and live out your golden years? Even though you'll probably not age because, you know, people from our backgrounds don't really age.
Oh yeah. Where would I want to retire? I don't know. Maybe a really nice beach in Australia.
Nah, I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah.
If you could redo one moment, good or bad, in your life, it would be what?
We do one moment. probably like one of the fights I've had with Jess, where, you know, when I look back, I'm like, man, I was not like really looking at it from her side, and I'd like something I could have handled better. Yeah, probably that. Yeah.
Finish the sentence. My one ultimate form of self-care is.
Ultimate form of self-care.
Mm-hmm.
My one ultimate form of self-care is resting on Saturday.
I love it. You're very consistent. What is your ultimate last meal?
Ultimate last meal. Like last meal, like dinner, or if I had one meal left in my life, what would I want to eat?
One meal left in your life. What would you eat?
Probably like a really juicy steak.
The way he said
I got my drool, like moving across my lip, like, oh man. Just thinking about it gets me going, dude. No. Or like a good burger.
Yeah, I get it.
Like,
He
but then
likes
like
his
or like
red
a
meat.
pizza, you know?
Just get all three of them on the same plate. Call that your last meal, bro. Who was your biggest childhood crush? Where are they now?
Apparently in a video I said Selena Gomez one time.
Oh, we love Selena.
And my wife, I don't hear the end of it from my wife. And a part of me like doesn't even remember saying it, but like
you said it and just remembered.
Yeah, dude, and all of our followers like know it now. And they're like, oh, Gabe with Selena. I'm like, dude, like I married Jess, like chill. But yeah.
I love it. Let's celebrate you. What are 3 wins you had this past week?
3 wins I had. Launched the merch.
You did.
Another win. I'm trying to think of like more specific moments. There is one win. Now, I don't know if I can mention yet. A personal.
But you might be able to.
When does this air?
A couple weeks from now.
Oh, a couple weeks. Oh, I don't know.
Top of April. Does that change your answer?
Top of April.
Middle of April. But that's as far as I would go because I want to put it out faster.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, I don't know. Like I want to say it, but I don't know if Jess is gonna kill me for saying. But it's something. It's a really good personal thing that happened.
Oh, you're pregnant.
No, not that.
Okay, fine. Don't do that yet. Not till I'm ready to be the godfather. Wait, so what's the other 2 wins?
Other 2. Oh my gosh. Dude, I should really like know this better. I mean, okay, maybe not this week, but last week I went and recorded some more music.
Great.
I'm super pumped about. Yeah, and another one. I guess in the same line of music. Yeah, Jess started doing her own original music, and the first she has recorded is unreal.
Aw, you guys are so cute.
Yeah.
I love it. If someone gives you $100 and tells you treat yourself, what would you do with it?
How much? What was the amount?
$100.
$100. $100. Probably get a massage.
Ooh, same. I was literally thinking that. You said it.
Dude, Jess and I were literally like, we need to get massages soon. Like we haven't done it in a long time.
I'll send you $100. There we go. Deal done. Done. You guys go treat yourself. Ghosting is real. Have you ever ghosted someone or been ghosted yourself? Doesn't have to be like in a relationship, just in general.
Yeah, I mean, my first thing was in a relationship. That was the first thing that came in my head.
Yeah.
My ex-girlfriend. I just needed space, and I couldn't like.
So you did the ghosting. That's okay.
I needed. Well, I was a little wronged. I feel like, but
got it. We won't get into it. Listen, we're not about the drama.
Dude, I'm not trying to be about the drama, man. But I needed to get over it. So getting a text about it wasn't necessarily the best thing for me. So I wasn't trying to encourage that, I guess. Yeah.
Gabby boy, we got a couple more of these. What is your go-to late night snack?
Go-to late night snack, bro? Like dark chocolate. or dark
Stop.
chocolate.
Same.
Yeah, dark chocolate covered almonds.
Shut up.
Dude.
You mean that?
Oh yeah, bro.
Bro, now we're really going to be good friends. I
Yeah.
only do dark chocolate covered almonds or those little dark chocolate bark thins or
Oh,
72% cacao dark chocolate.
72%. Dude, that's a really good ratio because it's still like it's not too dark to where you
And you
like
don't feel guilty, bro. It's kind of healthy.
you're like antioxidants.
Yes. Wait, Gabby, we're on to something. Do you believe in magic?
Hmm. I believe I, I believe in the spiritual realm.
Mm.
And I think it can influence people in ways that could seem like magic, maybe. I don't like Harry Potter magic. I don't think people are, you know.
I wish I would be floating on a broom. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
but
it?
yeah, I think more on like the spiritual world side of it. I do believe in that. Yeah.
Bada boom, bada bing. What do you keep? What do you keep on hand in your fridge without fail?
On hand in my fridge without fail, dark chocolate. I keep it in the fridge too.
Really? My mom does that.
Dude, it's when it's cold, it's nice.
Is it better?
I like it better.
Got it. I'll take your note on
That or raspberries. I'm like a
it.
raspberry.
Oh, you like
I
the
don't
antioxidant stuff.
take it the fiber and raspberry.
You're
No, I
just trying to
take the
look
whole
good
thing.
before you put on your belong hoodies, all right? You're just trying to get
Yeah,
antioxidant in you.
exactly. I'm trying to make it
Last, last question. Yeah, hoodies always make people look big, but you look great, dude.
Thank
What
you.
do you love the most about yourself? Perfect last question.
Oh wow, love most about myself. Oh man, I don't know. I love being creative, you know,
Yeah,
and I love utilizing that. I think that part of me, and yeah, that's my answer.
that's his answer. Thanks for playing questions of the hour, buddy. Anybody who's tuning in right now, thanks for being here. His episode just dropped. Gabriel Conte on the Men of the Hour podcast. We'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for tuning in.